My client at Chelsea this year is the British Heart Foundation, and I'd never worked with a charity before, so I was quite nervous when I first met them, particularly about how our styles and our ethoses would kind of gel together. I felt that I had to really sink myself into the British Heart Foundation's work, so I think my other half had some issues with it, but I did actually get tons of books on biology from the library, and I would lie in bed at night just reading books on cells and the structure of the heart and all kinds of things. I suppose what first flicked my switch about garden design was the hard materials actually and the architecture behind gardens. I've always been interested in really making the most of the structure of a space. It gives year-round longevity and it's the backbone to any garden. But I've kind of want to push the boundaries a bit with that, and I always have done. I want to interpret materials in new ways. I really like the natural, but if you use some quite unusual materials as well, you can actually make them feel very natural and fluid too. I'm using red for the landscaping materials in the garden. It's for a few reasons. I mean, Mother Nature uses red and green all of the time within her own garden, even though the colours are at the opposite end of the colour spectrum. It's a challenge because I want the red to kind of sing out but not overtake everything else within the space. So this is the design. Basically, you walk around the garden over what will be translucent red cells, and by night we're going to light these so they'll really glow. Now, the translucent stepping stones have been a tough call because we've basically, the sculptor and I who are making them, had to create a material. There was nothing on the market that we could really use. We originally found this, which kind of gave me the original idea, but it has no grip, and it can't be moulded into a very rounded shape. So Ian and I tried various different pieces because we wanted the luminous nature and quality of that, but with a gripping facility as well. So we started to play with textures and also colour. And the final one that we hit upon, this is just a prototype, but we have the right texture on there. It feels good to walk on. It doesn't have a slippery quality. And then the pigment within the actual laid up resin and acrylic. And if you can see how that's going to look when it's lit, I think it's going to look incredible, I hope. Some people will love the colour and others will hate it. But for me, it's experimental, it's energetic, it's vibrant, and I really want to be true to myself and the way I feel about the space and about the British Heart Foundation's work. And that's much more important to me than the medal, actually. I've always loved being outside, right from a small girl. You know, I'd go out in the landscape and not come back until way after tea time. We'd be climbing trees. It's something that I still really love doing, and there's something really fantastic and completely intoxicating about the way that nature has its own energy, and you're just a part of that when you're outside. Just a short walk from my office. Mother Nature has planted this almost vertical slope. I've really plundered her idea. We've got ferns and aspleniums and ivies, and we're going to wrap our boundary walls at Chelsea with something, I hope, near enough identical. I want the planting to have a certain energy, so the garden feels as if it's bursting at the seams. It's not content just being on my space. It wants to go and overtake other people's gardens as well.